morning, friends. Today we are going to continue the third session, the third module of the subject rehabilitation and retrofitting of structures. Okay, so in the module 1 and 2, we have discussed some of the causes for the deterioration of concrete structures, and also in the second module, we have discussed regarding the assessment of the structures. Okay, now in this module, in the module 3, we can study or we can discuss regarding the influence on serviceability and durability. Out of that, in that we have discussed, we can discuss some of the things, that is effects due to climate and temperature, effects due to chemicals, effects due to wear and erosion, effects due to design and construction errors, and effects due to corrosion mechanism, and what is the effect of cover thickness and cracking on the structural elements. At last, we can study the different methods of corrosion protection techniques. Okay, this is regarding the syllabus of module 3. So now in this particular session we can discuss regarding the effect due to climate and also effect due to temperature. Okay, so anyhow, some of the basic things we have studied in the module 1 itself, that is causes for the deterioration of structures. In that we have discussed some of the basic things, that is in the physical causes we have discussed regarding how actually the shrinkage will affect the structures. That means how the cracks will develop due to shrinkage, and due to the different types of shrinkage, that is plastic shrinkage and dry shrinkage, like that. The different types of shrinkages will affect different ways. So here the same thing we can discuss, and we can continue some more causes, that is what is the influence on the serviceability and durability of the structures. So, as I said, in the this particular section, we are going to discuss regarding the climate and temperature. So, first, let us see the effect due to temperature. Here we can see the temperature. The main thing is when the temperature changes, because in the some of the seasons the temperature will be low, and some of the seasons temperature will be more, that is the temperature will be more. That's action, there will be less temperature and more temperature, there will be changes in the concrete structural elements. Okay, this, we have studied this in the. So that means if the temperature variation is there in the structural elements, or that what happens, the freezing and thawing effect will be there. That we have discussed in the first module. Now here also the same thing we can continue. We are can classify the temperature changes in two things, that is temperature change internally by the heat of hydration of cement, and second one is temperature change generated by variation in climatic condition. That means the first one is the temperature variation internally, because as the height of hydration is varied. For example, if we are not doing the proper mixing, for example in some case we are using the some mineral admixtures, that mineral admixtures may not mix properly along with the cemented. What happens, where the cement is more, there the heat of hydration will be more, where the mineral admixture is there, there actually the heat of hydration will be less. There will be difference in the temperature between one place to the other place in the same element. Thereby there will be changes in the temperature which causes some of the changes inside the element. That means where the heat is there, where the more heat of hydration is there, there the internal cracks will develop. So coming to the second one, that is temperature change generated by variation in climatic conditions. That is, we know in the climatic conditions in the atmosphere, there will be changes in the temperature. Okay, that means in the morning time, there will be less temperature. In the afternoon, there will be less temperature. In the evening, once again, it will get cool. So this type of temperature will cause the effects on the structural element. Next, some of the effects in the structural elements. So the results of that temperature changes will be removal of evaporable water, the removal of combined water, alteration of the cement paste. That means if the temperature is changes, what happens? The cement paste will be altered. Okay, thereby the bonding strength will reduce if the alteration of the cement paste is occur. For example, the bonding between the aggregate and cement paste will be there. If there will be temperature changes, there may be debonding of that materials. So this is the main disadvantage or main effect of the temperature in the structural elements. Next, alteration of aggregate. Similarly, change the bond between aggregate and paste. As I said, due to this temperature variation, there will be the bonding strength will reduce between the aggregate and the cement paste. So some of the symptoms with respect to the internally generated temperature, the cracking resulting from internal resistance will be relatively shallow and isolated, because if the temperature variation inside the structural elements, what happens, there will be small cracks will develop, and that is only shallow and it is isolated. For example, where the temperature is more, there the cracks will develop. Where there is a less temperature, there the cracks is not there. So this is the main symptoms of the internal generated temperature differences. The second one is cracking resulting from external restraint will usually extend through the full section. That means if the temperature variations which affects the structural elements, what happens? The cracks will develop throughout the entire section of the element. So by this we can observe whether the cracks will develop due to the internal or due to the external. Next, we can prevent this by using some of the pozzolanic material, that is mineral admixtures we have to use, and we have to place the concrete at minimum practical temperature. That means in the casting time and all, we have to put the concrete when the temperature is low. Next, we have to use the low modulus of elasticity aggregates, and we have to cooling internally appropriate to minimizing temperature difference. That means if we are using any admixtures, we have to mix it thoroughly such that it should reduce the heat of hydration. Next, externally generated temperature difference of symptoms. Visual examinations will show regularly spaced cracking in the case of restrained construct. That means if the cracks is developed due to the external variation of the temperature, the series of the cracks will develop. So this shows the these cracks is developed due to the external temperature variation. Next, spalling at expansion joint will be seen in the case of restraint exertion. That means the spalling of the some of the concrete pieces will be, we can observe if the temperature variations. So we can prevent it by using of expansion and contraction joint, and by providing the reinforcement steel will help to distribute cracks and minimize the size of those. These are the prevention of the external generated temperature difference variations. So this session in the we are going to close this session. So in this session we have discussed regarding the what is the effect due to temperature. Okay, effect due to temperature. So in the next session we are, can continue the what is the effect due to chemical. Already we have discussed in the chemical causes, and also we can discuss regarding the wear and erosion. Okay, so with this, I'm going to close this session. Thank you.